After more than 28 years behind bars, the man dubbed the Station Strangler has been released on parole. Norman Afzal Simons was accused of being a serial killer after the bodies of 22 boys were found in shallow graves in Cape Town between 1986 and 1994. However, he was convicted for the murder of only one 10-year-old, Elroy van Rooyen.
Simons' parole has reignited questions about the other 21 cases, which until today remain unsolved. He was only found guilty of the kidnapping and murder of 10-year-old Elroy van Rooyen. Experienced detectives like the former station commander of Mitchell's Plain and former head of detectives in the province believe there were many other factors at play in Simons' arrest and subsequent conviction back in 1995.
Norman Simons' arrest, conviction and sentencing made headlines at the time. Now, almost 3 decades later, his release on parole is topping the news again.
Norman Simons was born in Cape Town and was known to be highly intelligent. He enjoyed playing classical music and could speak as many as 7 languages, including English, Xhosa, and French. He worked as a grade 5 teacher at Alpine Primary School in Mitchell's Plain, a community on the Cape Flats. People trusted him. He wasn't what most would picture when imagining a serial killer. But behind that calm facade lay a darkness no one expected. Simons is believed to have begun killing in October 1986, targeting very young boys between the ages of 9 and 13. Most of his victims came from the Cape Flats area. They were often lured from train stations, leading authorities to dub him the Station Strangler. His method was horrifying. He would sexually assault his victims and then strangle them, sometimes using their own clothing, before burying them in shallow sandy graves. Some of the bodies were discovered face down, with their hands bound behind their backs. In some cases, handwritten notes were found next to the victims, a chilling signature of the man who had taken them. As the number of missing boys grew, fear spread across Cape Town communities. By the early 1990s, dozens of bodies had been discovered. Police called in a forensic psychologist and profiler to help make sense of the case. Her work, combined with forensic evidence, helped focus suspicion on Simons. He was interrogated and eventually arrested in 1994. In 1995, Simons stood trial on charges of kidnapping and murdering 10-year-old Elroy van Rooyen, who would become the only victim he was convicted for. The trial lasted about 3 months. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison, 25 for murder and 10 for kidnapping. In 1998, his appeal was denied, and his sentence was converted to life imprisonment. While convicted for only 1 murder, many believe Simons was responsible for up to 22 deaths. Some of the alleged victims included young boys from the Cape Flats whose disappearances had never been fully solved. Families and community members never stopped demanding justice. An inquest opened into the other deaths concluded that there was prima facie evidence linking Simons to at least 6 more murders, but because so much time had passed, no further prosecutions were launched.
Skoon mee? Dankie.
There's a time when Johan left the gun here and said, bewys jou 'n guns en bewys ons 'n guns en skiet jouself vrek. En ek kan echt vroeger in gevat ek het begin huil. En ek het begin klap, maar terwyl ek begin klap, het ek en selfde aan sê vir my, as ek die waarheid gaan praat nie, gaan hy vir my monologie neem en die hande daar aan tot ek vrek. I can remember what happened that day as well, because there was a party on top. Because I found the so-called strangler.
I have heard about it in the news in the week a few days ago, and what I was just thinking, we are raising kids here and we've been staying here for almost 12 years. So what's going to happen, you know, if anything happens to our kids? How are we going to know that everything is fine here in Parole if they let him loose or let him stay here in Parole? What's going to happen with us and our children at the end of the day?
No, it's not right. You must stay there in prison. Well, how can you leave someone that must come out of prison who killed almost more than 22 people? This was not right. The government is corrupt, man.
Wherever he's going to be released is going to be a danger. So it doesn't really matter where. my opinion to that is the community should stand together. The parents should stand together, and they need to fight for their kids and protect the kids at all costs.
I would say, according to me, as a man of God, I would say everyone deserves a second chance. But then, depending on the killings, the killings was too much. So I wouldn't say I agree on this.
Yes, I know you can say he's been rehabilitated, but you know that stigma that's attached to his name. I think, yes, we can say we give everybody a second chance, but yet still, how are we feeling as residents here in Parole? How much we feel? I don't think they've asked us, you know, it's just been said that they're going to let him loose and he's going to stay here in Parole. So what about us? What about us? What about our voice that stays here in Parole at the end of the day?
In prison, Simons served his sentence at Drakenstein Maximum Correctional Center, near Parole. Interestingly, during his incarceration, he began teaching inmates subjects such as mathematics, social sciences, and languages, gaining a reputation for mentoring others even while behind bars. After decades in prison, Simons became eligible for parole in July 2023. He was released in November 2023 under strict conditions, including 24-hour monitoring, house arrest, limited movement, and controlled media interactions. His release sparked outrage, with many in the Mitchells Plain and Parole communities feeling deep fear and distrust. Community leaders demanded that he apologize to the families of his victims. Norman Afzal Simons remains a deeply controversial figure in South African criminal history. Despite being convicted for only one killing, suspicion never fully died around the other disappearances and murders. His case exposed deep wounds in the Cape Flats, fear, grief, and the inability to find closure. Today, his story continues to resonate. Documentaries, media coverage, and criminal profiling all revisit the horror he unleashed. And the question that still haunts many remains: how could a teacher become such a monster? Norman Afzal Simons' life is a chilling reminder that evil can wear the mask of normalcy. A teacher, multilingual, educated. Yet behind that facade lay a predator responsible for unimaginable terror. As the Station Strangler, he left a legacy of pain. His parole in 2023 reopened old wounds in the community. The families of victims still demand answers, still seek justice, and still live with a fear that never truly left. Thank you for listening to this story. If you found this video informative and chilling, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell so you don't miss more deep dives into South Africa's most disturbing crimes.